Good morning, or I should say good afternoon. I welcome to Spanning the Valley. I should say Spanning the Need. I'm with Father Monsignor John Zuraw from the Diocese of Youngstown. How are you doing today, John?
I'm having a good day. The sun is shining. It's getting a little warmer out, and we know that spring is possibly here.
Well, we hope that spring's here. I know it's supposed to be 80 degrees in this weekend during Memorial Day weekend, so we hope that that we just can enjoy the outdoors instead of being cramped up inside.
I agree with you 100%.
So let's start. We're going to be talking a lot about what's been going on the last, I would say 10 weeks, how things have changed, where things are going, talk about how the diocese is working to make sure everyone's safe moving forward. As you know, the announcement came out about a week or two ago, talking about what new precautions are coming into effect May 25th, starting when everything can roll in. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about some of the learning things that we've learned and will learn lesson-wise. But I think one thing I want to do, and I'd like to start this out, is tell us how you became a priest. I mean, I think you've been around a long time.
I've been around a long time.
You have a lot of experience in what you've been doing and serving the needs of the parishioners, the public in general. So how did you get your start? How did you get your start? Not many people may know this.
Well, I have to go back to second grade. What the teacher basically invited each of the students to draw what they would like to do. And way back in second grade, you know, that idea of becoming a priest entered into my mind, and that's what I drew. I drew an individual in a collar, and that's what, you know, I wanted to do for the rest of my life. 33 years later, I am still very much blessed with my ministry. I've had a wide variety of experiences, but going back to that second grade, I saw in the priests that served my parish, in the women religious that served my parish, a true dedication to the people of God. And that's what I wanted to do. They were my heroes and heroines. And back to the second grade, I drew what I saw individuals doing and how they were changing the world in a very effective way.
Well, and I think so. You entered the priesthood.
I entered the seminary. Basically, I went to YSU for 1 year. And, you know, I took a number of philosophy courses under Dr. Lucas at YSU. Many of your viewers or listeners will know that name. He got me interested in, you know, the philosophical thought. Following that year at YSU, I went to minor seminary in Cincinnati, then received a degree in history. Following that, I went for 5 more years to the major seminary. Then my education didn't stop there. I received my JCL, or license in canon law, from the Catholic University in Washington. So I am one of the canonists here within the diocese.
So, and that brings up a good point. You're out in front with the public. You've been really working with them over the years. So, have you always been at St. Rose, or have you been at different parishes?
Yeah, my first assignment, we go back, 33 years ago. I spent 6 years in Louisville, Ohio, which is part of our diocese, but it is part of the Stark County.
Okay.
Then I was assigned as an associate pastor at St. Rose for 3 years. Bishop Tobin then invited me to be a part of his administrative staff. During that opportunity, I also was the administrator of Immaculate Conception on the east side. When that came to a close, I left the office for a very brief time, centered my ministry at St. Rose in Girard, And then Bishop Murray invited me to be part of his administrative staff as his chancellor. And for the last several years, I have been working here at the diocese and pastoring St. Rose and Girard.
Oh, and for the record, you did our wedding. You did Lauren and I's wedding, and it was a great time. We had great family and friends there, and it was all under your direction. So we appreciate it that you did. So now
coming up with your first anniversary.
Yes, we're September. Yep, 9/14/19. My wife probably would not like that if I didn't remember when it was. So let's talk about some of the challenges that the diocese is facing, either locally, and I know that there's been a lot of communication with other dioceses around the state because you guys made the decision to open up at the same time. So what are some of the changes that the Diocese of Youngstown is facing? You may be all Ohio and United States diocese facing right now with everything going on.
Correct. Anthony, first and foremost, most parishes will begin weekday Mass come this Monday, Memorial Day. We will begin weekend Masses next weekend, which is the Solemnity of Pentecost, the 30th and 31st. What we're trying to do as a diocese is to assure safety for our individual parishioners and faithful. We're doing this in a wide variety of ways, through social distancing, through making sure that the space is clean. We're making sure that hymnals or individual worship books are not in the churches. Indication is that the hymnals will be removed and individuals will use worship aids or a sheet of paper that will be discarded following the Mass. For most places, the Sunday offering is going to be different. That offering will be given either at the beginning of Mass or at the end of Mass, and those offering baskets will be at various doors. The same thing with parish bulletins. We're used to someone handing those bulletins to us. Those will be placed on a pedestal where individual congregants can take a bulletin for themselves. Throughout the Mass, it's vitally important that we keep social distancing. Some of our churches are not in the church building because their church building maybe is a closed space. So they have chosen to celebrate the Sunday Mass in either their parish hall or gymnasium. At St. Rose, we will begin the 30th and 31st in the church, but a determination will be made at the end of that weekend whether or not we will continue in the church or move to the parish gymnasium. This is a learning experience for each of us. And once again, the guidelines and directives that have been provided need to once again be looked at following the 30th and 31st to see, how best we can protect those individuals who will be worshiping with us that weekend of the 30th and 31st. The dispensation that was granted 10 weeks still remains in effect. Individuals who, are elderly, individuals with various illnesses, individuals that are not comfortable in worshiping these first few weeks, you're dispensed from that Sunday obligation. And we ask that you join us either through live streaming or through other social media outlets where your spiritual needs can be met. We want individuals to be comfortable. We want individuals to be protected. We want individuals, if their health is not where it should be, to feel free to worship with us through social media, not in just the physical presence in our various churches or in other avenues that the church presents.
Let's talk about that. Explain what that means, because not many people may know what we were just talking about, because a lot of people hear things that may not be understandable to them. Maybe they do. So give an explanation of what that really means.
Okay, the bishops of Ohio in unison have dispensed Catholics from the obligation to attend Sunday Mass during this time of pandemic. We have grown up with the idea that, the Sunday service is very important, that we're obligated to attend the Sunday service. But because of the uniqueness of this time and because of the pandemic, the bishops have lifted that obligation to attend Mass till further notice. So if individuals are comfortable and healthy enough to attend, our churches will be open the 30th and 31st and the weekends following. But if individuals have underlying health concerns, or the elderly, or if they are not comfortable in, groups of individuals, they have been dispensed, or the obligation has been lifted from attending those Sunday masses.
I appreciate the explanation. Some people may not know what that means, but no matter what, we all have faith in some way or shape or form. And that's where we go with this. And so we talk about that we've been out of church, or the churches have been closed, and actually all churches, at least across the state of Ohio, that what is going to happen? You still got to pay the utility bills. You still got to serve the less fortunate. So how has that been how those challenges been faced by those dioceses, including the Diocese of Youngstown?
And once again, the people of the Diocese of Youngstown have been very generous. They see the importance of the ministry of the church. They have continued to meet the needs of the mission of the church in a wide variety of ways. Individuals have dropped off their offertory contributions to the parishes and placed them in the mail slot. Other individuals have mailed in their offertory envelopes. Still others have chosen to go on online giving, where their offertory envelope is given to the parish through, online contributions. Truly the blessing, and I think each and every one of us, even in the hardest of times, sees new ways in which God allows us to use the brain that He has given us in new and unique ways. The COVID-19, this pandemic, is truly for each and every one of us a life-changing event. But it has also given us opportunities in how we use various social media outlets that we have been blessed with, that often we take for granted. And this gives us even a greater opportunity to be in communication with others. We realize that lives have not stopped, that working has not stopped, but we have an opportunity to use what God has blessed us with in new and more enriching ways, such as this opportunity with spanning the needs of the valley and those around the valley.
And I appreciate that. And we talk a lot about, this is a huge change in people's lives. People have been home for weeks. The only thing going out to get essential goods and stuff like that is, do you think in the long run, this may hurt churches in general, between the diocese and other types of churches across the country?
I truly believe that people will return, but they will return, in a gradual way. Many individuals have expressed through me, either through email or through various conversations, they miss coming to church. They miss an opportunity to pray as a community. They miss as an opportunity to see, their friends and, their parishioners. Individuals will return, but are they going to return the 30th and 31st? Probably not. The crowds will probably be smaller. But I think in due time, the comfortableness of our people will come about.
And then we look at that as in saying that nowadays you hear a lot of stories, people doing good that maybe have never done good before, or the option that, hey, you know what, I don't know what to do. I need to do something good, because we have essential workers, we have financial services, bankers, healthcare workers, nonprofits that are putting their lives on the line to make sure that we're getting the food, getting the money that we need. And looking at that, hopefully that won't go away. Hopefully it won't.
Right. And I agree, Anthony, with you 100%. I think what has come out of the pandemic is that people are a little kinder towards one another. They appreciate those first responders a little more. They appreciate those individuals who check us out in the grocery store. Let's never lose sight of these individuals who work very hard, that often are not thanked. This pandemic has allowed us to thank those individuals, and we should never lose sight that word thank you needs to be part even more of our vocabulary.
Especially with a lot of people being laid off. I mean, laid off, losing their jobs, pay cuts, and a lot of them that I think there was a poll, and I forget how it was, so please don't quote me on the poll. They said that I think it was 40%, and I could be wrong because I could find that poll, that people went to the food bank for the first time in their lives, and that they've never gone.
And that's our opportunity, Anthony, to make sure that the needs of those who truly are affected by this pandemic are met. It's just not that we are, isolated, in our homes. This isolation invites us to do good for others and help others who are truly in need.
And I think that brings up a great point. Is there is a lot of need out there now, and I think the big need right now is just trying to find those services that can fit people. Mm-hmm. And I think that, and I'm going to go off subject here. What are some of the services that Catholic Charities provides to the community? So maybe someone watching may be able to help or either donate or can find a service that you guys provide.
Right. Catholic Charities has done tremendous work over these last several weeks. Catholic Charities has not closed its offices. It's unique that, when we think about Catholic Charities, we think about it in terms of feeding the hungry, giving shelter to those who are truly in need. The listening ear of one individual talking to another individual and giving the best possible advice. Catholic Charities might not be able to tend to all the needs, but they have resources in which they can allow individuals the opportunity to contact other individuals who truly can help them. The social service agencies within our valley, they have specialties. And what's great about each of our social service agencies is they know who is good at what. So they're able then to communicate to the general public. We might not be able to help you, but these are the areas in which the help that is needed can be addressed through this department or through this social service.
And I think that brings up a good point, is now you have departments, I should take that back, departments, nonprofits, and then individuals starting to open up, businesses and stuff like that. What should parishioners or anyone now, because I know that I've become closer to my faith over this period and understanding some things and working through that. Is what should parishioners be cautious about or look forward to when they go to a church, or what should they be just open-minded about?
First and foremost, we need to be patient. We need to be patient in the weekend in which we will open. Individuals' anxieties are going to be very high. They're coming back after 10 weeks to things that have changed. We use the phrase the new normal, okay? We're going to try to make it as normal as possible, but there's going to be a newness there. Making sure, that individuals are protected. The wearing of masks, the social distancing, how we receive communion. We are people that basically like to congregate and talk to one another. That's going to be a little different the weekend of the 30th and 31st. Many parishes do coffee and donuts. Well, that's going to be suspended for a time.
Mm-hmm.
Various socials are going to be suspended. Many of the churches have canceled their summer festivals. We're not going to be able to congregate. But once again, that wave or that smile or that just simple gesture of hello will leave a lasting, impression on those individuals that we're going to see once again. As parish, we realize that, some of our parishioners have died because of the COVID virus. We realize that their families are going to be returning to churches again. How do we have not had opportunities to go to calling hours or funerals, but, gestures of comfort for these individuals are going to be vitally important in the days and weeks ahead.
Well, and let's take what you just said. We have a lot of festivals that are being canceled. That are, it's all over the place. From fairgrounds. I just got a notification that the Ohio State Fair has been canceled. If I get that correctly, I think that was what the announcement was. And correct me if I'm wrong. And so a lot of these festivals support the church. So, and I think as we move forward, there's going to be some lessons in challenges that we're learning. So what are some of the lessons that we have learned? What's next for the diocese and in general for churches?
I think most important is the retooling of what the word stewardship is all about. The mission of the church will not be able to continue without good stewards. Yes, festivals and raffles are very good. They're bringing people together. But more importantly is that we have to learn that concept of giving back for what we have been blessed with. And, the whole pandemic, reminds us that we still need to be good stewards. One of the basic principles in, parish life is that we can never depend upon a fish fry or a festival, because a fish fry or festival, certain things can happen. A festival can be for 3 weeks and or 3 days. It could rain those 3 days. So we have to look that, the festivals or fish fries supplement income, but should never be the basis of operating our, churches or schools. That is to supplement. Stewardship has to be first and foremost in mind and in giving.
And I'll add this to it, and I know that as money becomes an issue, and so does parishioners, because we've been away for 10 weeks. How does that affect, and I'll end with this question, how does that affect the diocese in general, at least the Diocese of Youngstown, when you've been kind of reworking where the diocese goes and how churches are being opened and closed in different directions.
Once again, within the Diocese of Youngstown, our budget year will end on June 30th. So we have to be very careful as to how we begin the new fiscal year on July 1st. You know, there are many unknowns. And because there are many unknowns, we have to enter into the new fiscal year super cautious and looking at each of our budgets, looking at, you know, the amount of monies coming in are not going to be as what they were last year at this time. So there's going to have to be adjustments on the parts of the various offices of the Diocese of Youngstown to utilize in the most effective way what God and the people of God have given to us.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on. It's always great to see you, Monsignor.
Thank you.
And I hope people can recognize what some of the precautions that will be put in place by the diocese as well as other dioceses, because I would assume that you guys are all working together and all kind of coming up with the same rules and regulations and stuff like that. And I appreciate your time. And I hope you stay well and stay healthy, Monsignor.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Take care.
Take care.